The shadows of the alleyway stretched long as the cold night clung to the city like a second skin. Neon signs flickered, a single scream echoed in the distance before being swallowed by silence. You adjusted your school uniform skirt, disgusted at the pretense. 18 but not naive, a lie wrapped in innocence. You weren't just a high school student, you were Agent 018, a ghost trained in silence designed to deceive and destined to bring down the nation's most dangerous man, John Jungkook. Behind you, a calm voice whispered through the earpiece. You're close. He should be leaving the club in 90 seconds. Eyes up, agent. I know, I have his pattern memorized. He's wearing the black leather jacket, hair wet. Good girl, but don't call attention to yourself. You are still bait. I never forget. It wasn't easy hiding the fire that boiled beneath your skin. The years of conditioning at Black Veil had hardened your bones, sculpted you into a perfect chameleon. Orphaned young and stolen by the agency before your name even meant something. You had only ever known Namjoon's presence, your handler, your trainer, your only family. The crowd shifted as a figure stepped out of the club. There he was, John Jungkook. 25, lethal and beautiful like a storm. The most wanted criminal in the country, the king of the underground. Your mission was clear: infiltrate, seduce, and dismantle. But no one had warned you that his gaze could unearth secrets you buried deep. Keep the car running, I'm walking, he said to his bodyguard. Sir, that's not safe. I said, walk, let me breathe. Your eyes locked with his as he passed. He paused, a flicker of amusement in his dangerous eyes. You lost, little one? Not at all, just waiting for someone. A smirk appeared on his face. Lucky bastard. He walked past you, scent of gunpowder and mint lingering in the air, but in that moment something triggered. Abort now, he's watching you. His voice was filled with panic. No, he didn't suspect. Let me stay. I said abort. That's an order. But you stood still, gaze never leaving Jungkook's retreating form. The mission took a twisted turn that night. You had followed the pattern like a ritual, attending school during the day, keeping up the facade of an ordinary girl. By night, you melted into the shadows, tracking every footstep Jungkook made, studying his routines with a predator's precision. The job at Cafe Eclipse, one of his affiliated businesses, was a calculated risk. You started as the invisible girl behind the counter, quiet, obedient, easily dismissed, but John Jungkook wasn't a fool. He watched you every day without fail. He came in, black coffee, no sugar, no smile. He always sat at the corner table, his back never turned to the door, fingers tapping rhythmic patterns on the cup like code. You noticed everything: how his eyes scanned reflections in the window instead of people directly, how he only relaxed when a storm rolled in. That night he lingered. You blinked too slow to be harmless. You looked up, startled, but kept your expression neutral. Or maybe you were too paranoid. Jungkook chuckled, leaning closer. Paranoid keeps me alive. It will keep you alive too, if you're smart. And if I'm not? He shrugged. Then someone else drinks your coffee tomorrow. He walked out before you could respond, the door chiming behind him. You watched his reflection disappear into the rain-soaked street, heart thudding in your chest. That night, after your shift ended, you slipped into the black alley to avoid the main road. The scent of rain and garbage lingered, and for a second the world felt too quiet, too still. Suddenly, a strong grip yanked you back, cold metal kissing your temple. Pretty girls shouldn't poke their noses in mafia business. You didn't flinch. You reached for your hidden blade, but he was faster. You heard the gun cock. Blood sprayed across your cheek. The man dropped instantly, his body limp and heavy. You stumbled back, catching your breath while your heart pounded. Jungkook stood at the entrance of the alley, smoke curling from the silencer in his hand. He wore no expression, just a distant calm that was somehow more terrifying than rage. You're welcome. You wiped the blood from your face, trembling slightly. Why save me? He took a step closer and spoke in a deep, low voice, because I don't like people killing what's mine. You glared at him. I'm not yours. He smiled. You will be. He turned away expecting you to follow. You didn't. Not immediately, but survival spoke louder than pride. You followed because that was your chance. Later inside the car, silent, tinted, with the hum of city lights flickering by, he said nothing for a while then. Name? Sujin. It wasn't your name, but it was your lies. Lies come easier to people like you. People like me? The one with eyes that don't match their smiles. You stiffened. He handed you a cloth. You have got blood on your collar. You dabbed at it in silence. You kill people often, only when they touch what's mine. You paused and looked at him. Still not yours. Yet you are in my car, covered in his blood, wearing my name like a second skin. You looked out the window, jaw clenched. This was a mistake. Mistake or fate, either way, you're mine now. You were taken to the estate that night. High fences, iron gates, the kind of place that screamed wealth and danger in equal measure. Bodyguards didn't question him as he led you through marble halls and up winding stairs. He opened a door to a large bedroom. This room is yours. Use it or burn it down. I don't care. Why me? Because you looked me in the eyes like you didn't care who I was. That's rare. And now you're interesting. A chill ran down your spine as you could sense danger but didn't let it show because you already knew it. When you made sure he left the room, you activated your earpiece. What the hell happened? I told you to keep your distance. He was furious while you whispered so your voice won't go out. They tried to kill me, Joan. You were never supposed to get this close. I had no choice. It was either follow him or die. Then we abort. We pull you out. No, I'm deeper in now than ever. He trusts me. Or he wants to. Do not get emotionally involved. You hear me? You are trained better than this. I don't feel anything. It's just an act. Then act smarter. He is more dangerous than you think. You closed your eyes. But Jungkook didn't give you time to rest. There was a knock at your door 5 minutes later. You quickly hid the earpiece in your bra and opened it, and there he stood, damp from the rain, shirt clinging to his frame, eyes unreadable. Do you want wine or whiskey? Neither. Then come sit with me anyway. I don't like drinking alone. You hesitated but nodded. He led you into the lounge downstairs. The lighting was low, golden, soft jazz humming faintly from the record player. He poured himself a drink, then poured another, placing it in front of you. Tell me a secret. I don't have any. You said, looking at him while he looked back at you for some time before chuckling. Everyone has at least one. Fine, I'm afraid of the ocean. Why? Because it hides things beneath the surface. He tilted his head, eyes never leaving your face. Like you. You shifted slightly uncomfortable. You are reading too much into things. I don't think I'm reading enough. He took a slow sip from his glass, then leaned back on the velvet couch, spreading his arms across the backrest, watching you like a man who already knew your story but wanted to hear you lie. You wear a mask, Sujin. I wonder what's behind it. Wouldn't you like to know? I will eventually. A silence stretched between you, then he stood, walked towards you, and stopped inches away. You looked up at him, defiant. Your heart was pounding, but your face stayed still. You were shaking. I'm not scared. It was a lie because you did fear him now. He leaned closer. You should be. His hand came to your jaw, tipping your chin upward. He didn't touch you inappropriately, didn't cross that final line, but the closeness, the suggestion, the threat of what he could do was enough to send your nerves screaming. If I wanted to, I could take you right here. You tensed, make you beg, break you open, tear that mask off with my bare hands. You didn't answer, couldn't. His voice dropped to a whisper against your ear. But I won't. You blinked, confused. You think you're clever, hiding in plain sight, acting sweet, innocent, vulnerable. But I've been watching you, Agent 018, since the first time you walked into that cafe. You gulped and your heart dropped. This was it. You know your game is over. He stepped back then, the tension snapping like a sting between you. I know who you are. What? Don't be surprised, sweetheart. I know everything. Your real name, your mission, your handler. He turned towards the window, sipping his drink again. You didn't really think you could feel me, did you? Then why let me stay? Because I wanted to see how far you would go to lie to me, and now I want to see if you'll keep lying. He looked at you again, eyes colder now, sharper. Consider this your final test. Don't lie to me again. Next time I won't be so gentle. Then he walked away, leaving you in the silence, trembling, not from fear but from the terrifying truth. You weren't in control anymore. He was. The mansion smelled of blood and sandalwood. You had studied his file 100 times, watched grainy surveillance clips, read transcripts, knew this method, his movements, even his moods, but nothing prepared you for standing in the lion's den, while the lion was watching you with fire in his eyes. He locked the door with a soft click. You didn't move, didn't blink. Your body was trained to remain still, even in the jaws of death. Jungkook turned slowly like a shadow come alive. Trying to run already? Not bad. You almost made it past my parameter. You didn't answer. Your wrists were still red from the silk restraints he had used to tie you to the chair. Not because he needed to, but because he wanted to remind you that no matter how fast or smart you were, he was faster, smarter. You have escaped from Blackthorn facility. He continued tossing your confiscated blade onto the desk between you. From the serpent's nest in Cairo, and even that little vault pen in Genoa, do you think I wouldn't read your entire tosser before I let you step foot in my world? He was closer now. The lights overhead flickered as if sensing your quickening breath. You weren't scared of pain, you weren't scared of time, but you were scared of what came between the two. You know everything, so why keep me alive? Jungkook smiled, and that was far worse than if he had drawn a gun. Because dead things don't learn, and I want you to learn, Agent. He stepped forward slowly, circling you like a wolf admiring its cornered prey. I brought you here for a lesson. he whispered, brushing a loose strand of hair from your face. You think you are still in control, that this is your mission, but it's not. You remained still, you wouldn't give him the satisfaction of seeing you flinch. Now, I need you to understand one thing. You belong to me now. Your jaw clenched. You don't scare me. You should be scared. He leaned in until your noses were almost touching, because this is the part where I show you what happens when you try to fool the devil. He pushed you gently backward onto the silk covered bed. Your mind was calculating every move, every possible escape route. You waited for the strike. But it never came. Instead, he stood above you, untouching, his eyes unreadable. Did you really think I would force myself on you? You're not a prize, sweetheart. You are a message, a lesson for the agency who thought they could send the child into my den. You realized it then. This wasn't about pleasure. It wasn't even about domination. It was psychological war. He wanted to see if he could break you, humiliate you, own you without even laying a hand. You sat up slowly. You won't win. I already have. He tilted his head. You are here, aren't you? And in that moment, as he walked to the door and locked it again, you knew this wasn't over. The silence was the loudest sound in the agency. Kim Namjoon stood in the operation room, jaw clenched, hands behind his back, staring at the blinking red dot on the screen. It had been 72 hours since you vanished. Not a signal, not a trace, not a word. She went dark, one agent muttered. She was compromised. Another ended. Namjoon didn't speak. He couldn't. If he did, the rage would pour out like acid. In the mansion, the air was cold despite the luxury. You sat on the velvet couch in Jungkook's private library, wrists free, body untouched, but completely imprisoned. No guards, no chains, just the knowledge that you wouldn't get out alive if you ran again. You were smart, Jungkook had said the night before, his voice like ice over fire, but even wolves starve in the wrong jungle. He hadn't hit you, he hadn't even touched you after that first terrifying moment, but the way he watched you, the way he spoke, it was worse than violence. Every word reminded you, you were prey. Back to headquarters, Namjoon slammed his fist against the screen. She's 18, he growled. You sent an 18-year-old into the lion's den without extraction support. The director's voice was calm, too calm. She was our sharpest, the only one who ever got close to him. We believed, you believed, she's not invincible. She's a damn teenager who spent her whole life training and not a second living. That monster has her now. The room went still. Namjoon closed his eyes, swallowing the storm. She's my responsibility. I raised her, trained her. She's my little sister, and I swear to God if anything happened to her. He didn't finish the sentence. He didn't need to. Jungkook walked into the library mid-afternoon, his eyes scanning you like a collector admiring a stolen masterpiece. You didn't look up from the book you were pretending to read. You know, they haven't come for you. You turn the page. Not yet. They won't. They know better. I make sure of it. That got your attention. Your eyes snapped up. What did you do? He walked over slowly, deliberately crouching in front of you. I gave them a choice, your life or 10 of their agents scattered across the globe. You should be proud. They picked the 10. You didn't flinch, you didn't scream. You just stared at him with silent fury. That's the problem with your kind. He murmured, fingers brushing the edge of the book in your lap. You think the world cares about little soldiers? Someone will come. You said, voice like a blade. He smiled. Let them.